Archangel Michael showed the part they hid, and it changes everything you thought was real. Open quickly. Here was a shift. You felt it, not in the thunder, but in the subtle tremble beneath your stillness. A whisper in the soul that said, something is not as it seems. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It was quiet. That's how these things always begin. When heaven intends to show you what earth tried to hide. The Spirit does not always come in a storm, but in a silence so divine it unsettles the soul. This disturbance wasn't just circumstantial. It was spiritual. A sacred unveiling had begun, and you were selected to witness it. Not everyone felt the shift. Not everyone noticed the tightening grip. What you did. You couldn't sleep the same. You couldn't pray the same. Something within you cried out, though your mouth never moved. That cry was heard. Archangel Michael, guardian of divine truth and destroyer of deception, entered in an unguarded hour, not to bring fear, but to confront false peace. He did not come to offer comfort. He came to reveal what has been long buried beneath layers of illusions. He came bearing fire and light, to pull back a veil that had covered your discernment, your clarity, and your authority. And when that veil was pulled, your spirit recoiled, not because it was unprepared, but because it had waited too long in the dark. You were never crazy. You were never dramatic. You were discerning. They tried to convince you that what you sensed was paranoia. But the Spirit confirms it now. What you were feeling was real. What you were seeing in glimpses, you are now about to see in full. Reality was only half the story. You lived in a version of the truth that others tailored to keep you compliant, confused, and silent. But that ends now. This message isn't for the lukewarm. It is not for the passive. It is for the alert, the ones who have stayed awake while others slumbered under deception. It is for those who have prayed in tears and waited in silence. You, yes you, remain still now. You not speak. The Spirit is revealing. The Holy One is opening a portal into what they never wanted you to see. What you are about to hear is not entertainment. It is divine confrontation. It is surgical. It is fiery. It is holy. And it is urgent. You must understand. If you ignore this, the web of deception will only strengthen. If you dismiss this moment, the lie will tighten its grip. But if you lean in, if you allow the Spirit to unveil what they concealed, you will see the truth in such power that you will never again bow to their version of reality. This is not a message. This is a divine call to awaken. And Archangel Michael doth not speak in vain. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Heaven is not silent. The Spirit is not passive. And Archangel Michael has been loosed with a blazing scroll in his hand and a sword forged in divine truth. This is not a moment for comfort. It is a moment of unveiling. Hear this and do not harden your heart, for he does not come bearing soft words, but fire. And fire, though feared, is the purifier of all things hidden. He says, by this time tomorrow, their mask will break. Let the weight of that word fall upon your soul. Not metaphor, not poetry, prophecy. What was hidden behind performance, manipulation, and religious language will no longer be able to stand. The curtain of deception will tear. The actor will forget their lines. The script they rehearsed will dissolve in the presence of divine truth. For the Lord has declared, what was done in shadows shall be shouted from rooftops. Archangel Michael is not sent to soothe you in this hour. He is sent to wake you, to slice through the fog of confusion that others wove around your destiny. They dressed it up in kindness. They masked it with smiles. They whispered empty words and hoped your spirit wouldn't notice. But your spirit noticed. Your soul trembled at the soundless noise. And now, the heavens have answered you. This moment is not random. This encounter is not casual. This is a divine interruption. A disruption not sent to destroy you, but to expose what tried to. The lie they buried so deep, beneath layers of charm, strategy, and deceit, is rising now. It is bubbling under the surface of your conversations, your relationships, your very peace. And Michael says, it cannot stay buried anymore. You were chosen for this unveiling. Not because you are perfect, not because you are the loudest, but because you are willing. Because you asked God to show you what was real, and heaven heard you. Your prayer was not polished, but it was pure. And for that reason, you now stand in the hour of exposure. Hear the voice in the wind. This message carries heaven's urgency. Open your spirit. What you are feeling now, this quickening in your chest, this weight in the atmosphere, is the presence of divine truth entering your reality. It does not knock politely. It does not wait for permission. When heaven speaks, it invades. And this invasion is holy. This is not the season to seek the approval of man. This is not the hour to explain away your discernment. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mock your silence. But do not explain what the Spirit has revealed. What is being shown to you is sacred intelligence, not to be shared, not to be diluted, not to be thrown before wolves. By this time tomorrow, Michael says again, the illusion will crack. And when it does, you must not waver. Do not run back to what was comfortable. Do not offer your voice to defend what God is dismantling. Stay anchored. Stay rooted. Stay still. Let the fire fall. Let the truth rise. You were born for this confrontation, not of flesh but of spirit. What they built on false ground is already shaking, and what God is doing in your life cannot be stopped by human resistance. This unveiling is the beginning of alignment. It is the burning away of false connections, false peace, false promises. You are being called out of confusion and into clarity, out of survival and into rulership, out of pretense and into power. So declare now, in your spirit, with your soul, I will not fear what is being exposed. I welcome the truth. I embrace the fire. I will not look away. Let heaven know you're ready. Let darkness know you're aware. Let your own soul know you are not the same. This message is sacred. This hour is sealed. And Archangel Michael stands in your atmosphere now, not as a distant force, but as your divine protector, sword drawn, ready to battle for what belongs to you. Do not delay. Do not doubt. The time is now. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. It wasn't in your imagination. The puzzle had gaps for a reason. The words didn't land right. The smiles didn't reach their eyes. The timing always felt off, as if reality was skipping frames. You were in the presence of performance, and your spirit knew it before your mind could explain it. And though you gave the benefit of the doubt, what you felt was spiritual intel leaking into your heart. You felt it when conversations ended too quickly, when questions you asked were deflected, when eyes darted, when tones shifted. Your silence was louder than their words, and every time your intuition stirred, you tried to hush it, out of loyalty, out of fear of being wrong, out of your own compassion. But now, Archangel Michael whispers, they thought you'd never see this part. This is not paranoia. This is not emotional fragility. This is spiritual sensitivity. You were not being overly cautious. You were being divinely alerted. God does not give you a sense of awe for no reason. The Spirit placed a friction in your atmosphere that no surface explanation could resolve. That was not a warning of destruction. That was the sound of revelation drawing near. You've watched them play both sides. You've seen the way they pivot when others entered the room. The mask they wear fits so well, but you saw the crack in the corner. A glance, a phrase, a pause that revealed more than they wanted. And even when you tried to shake it off, your soul felt grieved. Not by what was said, but by what was hidden behind it. You've been in the presence of spiritual pretense. And Michael now says, that season is ending. They underestimated your discernment. They relied on your silence. They counted on your grace to protect their deception. But heaven does not allow lies to reign forever. And the Lord, in His mercy, has begun exposing what would have destroyed you if left undiscovered. The unease you carried was not random. It was a prophetic warning. You were being prepared for a revelation you couldn't articulate but deeply sensed. This is why the weight has been growing. Why the peace you once had around them began to sour. The Spirit was not punishing you, it was preparing you. You need to understand this clearly. Everything is not as it seems, and it never was. You were shown only one layer, one version of events. But beneath the facade, beneath the curated images and selective conversations, something darker moved. And now, the light of God is shining directly on it. This is the moment when hidden intentions surface. This is the moment when the counterfeit can no longer hide. And while your heart may ache, let your spirit rejoice, because heaven would not reveal this unless it was time to release you from it. You have cried. You have doubted yourself. You've asked if maybe you were too harsh, too sensitive. But the truth is, you were seeing with spiritual eyes what they tried to cloak in natural behaviors. They smiled, but the spirit behind it did not. And now the veil has been torn. Michael says, do not return to blindness. You were chosen to see. If you return to what's being dismantled, you'll forfeit what God is building. Stand still. The lie is losing its grip, and the truth is stepping forward. Let the mystery collapse. Let the silence speak. Let heaven do what your hands no longer need to. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure to subscribe for more spirit-led revelations, divine insights, and weekly prophetic content. Stay connected to the voice that keeps you anchored in truth. Type I receive truth in the comments if this speaks to you. Blessing code 1313 has just been released. You didn't just walk into drama. You stepped into spiritual warfare masked as personal tension. What seemed like miscommunication, what felt like subtle sabotage, was a smoke screen. There was fire behind their kindness. There was strategy behind their silence. The enemy does not attack randomly. He studies patterns, and then plants confusion like a seed. But you, beloved, were never meant to be consumed by that fire. You were meant to discern it. And now, the fire you're walking through is not hell's flame. It is heaven's purifying fire, burning away every attachment, every false alliance, every spiritual parasite that latched onto your calling. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, unsheathing his sword, declaring, "You are not being punished. You are being refined." Let that settle deep in your soul. This pain is not a verdict against you. This loss is not evidence of failure. You are not rejected. You are being redirected. God is refining the circle around you because your next assignment cannot afford another season of pretending. You've asked, "Why me? Why do I keep seeing what others ignore? Why do I feel drained around certain people? Why does clarity cost so much?" And heaven answers, because your calling is costly, because your presence provokes what's unclean, because your discernment is dangerous to the enemy's systems. The heartbreak you felt was more than emotion. It was the collision between truth and spiritual compromise. When you chose integrity, you became a threat. When you refused to lie to yourself, you disrupted the cycle. That is war. That is spiritual conflict. And you did not imagine it. Michael frames it like this: the battle was never with them, but with what used them. Don't reduce this to personality clashes or misunderstandings. You are dealing with spirits, ancient, manipulative forces that hate clarity, fear truth, and resist elevation. These spirits wore familiar faces to confuse your discernment. But your soul cried out, and God answered. Now comes the command: silence, stillness, obedience, the strategy of the chosen. You will not win this through explanation. You will not resolve this with conversations. Your power is not in persuading. Your power is in positioning. When you stay rooted in the Spirit, you disarm every manipulative tactic. When you refuse to react, you reclaim authority. You're not weak. You're wise. And wisdom knows when to speak and when to stay silent, like Jesus before Pilate. Michael whispers, "Let them talk. Let them twist. Let them plan. Your assignment is to remain aligned. Let the Spirit lead you through the fire. Don't reach for the old patterns. Don't chase closure where God has removed peace. There are things you will never get an apology for, because the Spirit is using silence as a sword. Heaven saw every tear. Heaven heard every prayer you couldn't form into words. You were never alone. And now, the season has shifted. Let the battlefield clear. Let the smoke lift. Let the revelation break open. You are being prepared not for retaliation, but for promotion, for rulership, for authority born in fire, not flattery. This conflict was not a mistake. It was a divine setup to break agreements you didn't even realize you made. Now rise. Stand in the truth. Refuse to react. Heaven is fighting where you cannot see, and victory has already been declared. Type "I stand still" in the comments to activate blessing code 1777. Heaven is fighting for you. The clock has started. Something has been triggered in the spirit realm. What was delayed is now in motion. What they've been planning, whispering, fabricating in the shadows, it's coming to the surface. Not because they wanted to, but because heaven is forcing it out. This is not your imagination. This is not paranoia. This is the Holy Spirit sending shockwaves before the exposure strikes. Michael doesn't come with a soft word. He comes with the sword of timing. And he says within 72 hours, you will see it. The masks will begin to fall. The lies will begin to crack. And the story they've rehearsed will lose its grip. This is your notice. This is your countdown. Not to fear, but to prepare. Not to panic, but to posture. Someone is already moving. Not toward healing, not toward truth, but toward distortion. They are strategizing, trying to get ahead of exposure. They are scrambling to spin their version, to twist timelines, to protect the image they built on your silence. But Michael says this: do not panic. Your panic is proof they know what's coming. You must see without reacting. That is your edge. If you react now, you hand them control. If you respond emotionally, you surrender your authority. But if you stay grounded, if you remain anchored in the Spirit, you will walk through this revelation like one untouchable, like one covered in divine immunity. This confrontation may not be loud. It may not be face-to-face. It might not even involve words. Some confrontations are spiritual. Some confrontations happen in stillness. But whether the battle comes through messages, misrepresentation, or manifesting through others, understand this: heaven has already drawn the boundary lines around you. Do not chase the lies. Do not run to fix what God is unraveling. Let it collapse. In the spirit realm, the tables are flipping. Roles are reversing. Where you were once questioned, you will be confirmed. Where they held influence, they will face exposure. Their protection is being lifted, not by your doing, but by divine judgment. And while this unfolds, chaos will try to fight back. The enemy doesn't lose territory quietly. Expect strange behavior. Expect sudden shifts. Expect but don't fear it. Chaos is the final gasp of a collapsing lie. When you see the noise increase, know that exposure is near. This is not punishment. This is precision. God is reclaiming your narrative, not through your arguments, but through undeniable truth. He's not just exposing them, he's elevating you. So breathe. Posture yourself. Guard your responses. Do not react emotionally. Respond spiritually. Speak when heaven tells you. And until then, observe. Discern. Document, if led. But above all, do not step out of alignment for the sake of defending your name. You don't need to defend yourself when God has already gone before you. Your obedience in this moment is critical. You are not just surviving this, you are being positioned through it. The Spirit of God is setting a stage where clarity will speak louder than any accusation, where fruit will testify louder than gossip. Do not be distracted. Do not be provoked. Stay focused. And remember, you are not powerless. You are in divine protection, surrounded by heavenly intelligence. Archangel Michael and warring angels have been assigned to your name. Your silence has not been weakness. It has been weaponized by heaven. Your restraint is what's kept the Spirit's plan moving without interference. The final hour of their plan is unraveling, but so is the final hour of your silence. Watch closely. Be prayerful. Be still. But be ready. God's vindication moves swiftly. Type "I am ready for vindication" in the comments if this resonates. Lesson code 1444 is now surrounding your path. You are now in sacred territory. The time for clarity has come. But the instruction from heaven is not action. It is stillness. Not retreat, but restraint. Not silence from fear, but silence as strategy. Heaven is not asking you to be quiet out of weakness. It is commanding you to remain still because angels have been dispatched. Your movement right now must be directed by spirit, not emotion. Don't reach out. Don't explain. Don't try to force understanding. What is unfolding is beyond your ability to control. And it's not supposed to be in your hands anymore. God has taken this case into his court. The verdict has already been written in glory, and the divine judge does not need your defense to execute justice. Pull back into divine sanctuary. Return to the secret place where clarity reigns and chaos is powerless. God is not only revealing what they've done, He's reordering your steps to protect what comes next. This moment is not just about exposure. It's about elevation. And that cannot happen if you keep trying to fix what heaven is destroying. Let this truth wash over you. Rest is your resistance. Stillness is your shield. While others panic, while they scramble to protect their image, you are to anchor yourself in unshakable peace. Peace is not passivity. Peace is prophetic positioning. Affirm this now. I trust the Spirit to defend me now. Say it out loud. Speak it over your atmosphere. Let it settle in your bones. Because this kind of peace doesn't come from ignoring the battle. It comes from knowing you're already covered in it. Michael says, they will expect you to respond. Don't. They will bait you. Don't bite. They will lie. Don't chase it. They will twist the truth. Let them. The Spirit is orchestrating something they cannot see. And the less you engage, the more their exposure will reveal itself. Do not share this message with everyone. Keep it sacred. This isn't meant for general ears. This is divine instruction specifically tailored for your journey. Guard it. Hide it in your heart. Let the timing of God do what your voice doesn't need to. You may feel isolated, but you are surrounded. Heaven has assigned watchers to your life. Divine eyes are on you. Angelic forces have been stationed to block every counterattack, to reverse every lie, to intercept every false plan. The blood of Jesus surrounds your name like a spiritual firewall. You are not just being protected. You are being reintroduced. When the season closes, the version of you they manipulated will be gone. The version of you that tolerated lies for peace will not return. What rises from the ashes of this confrontation is not just healing. It's a holy threat to every system that tried to bury you. So stay in the sanctuary. Stay low before God. Let your hands be clean and your motives pure. Do not gloat. Do not whisper. Do not retaliate. The God of angel armies fights differently, and victory here will look like divine reversal, not emotional vindication. Every day, every hour, your restraint is stacking testimony in heaven. Every time you don't respond, the enemy loses grip. Every time you choose stillness, heaven moves faster on your behalf. They have already lost control. Now let them lose credibility. Not by your hand, but by the hand of the righteous judge. Let the wind of peace wrap around you now. You are safe. You are covered. You are seen. The Lion of Judah has roared on your behalf, and hell has heard it. Type I am hidden in God in the comments to activate protection code 1221. Heaven's eyes are watching over you. Heaven has issued a divine correction. A restoration of your identity that was distorted, dismissed, and downplayed. Archangel Michael steps forward again, not with warning this time, but with a thunderous affirmation. He declares before the courts of heaven and the whispers of earth, you are not the weak one. You are not the naive one. You are not the pawn in their game. You are the threat they never prepared for. Every lie they told about you depended on your silence. Every manipulation they spun relied on your old identity. The version of you that didn't yet know your power, your value, your weight in the Spirit. But that version of you has been burned away in the fire. What's rising now is something entirely different. What's emerging is not timid. It's divine. They remembered you as you were. But heaven is revealing who you become. You have been reshaped, not by the approval of others, but by the refining fire of God. You have been rebuilt, not to be liked, but to be launched. Their illusion only worked when you still needed their validation. But you don't need it anymore. You've been baptized in disappointment and anointed in solitude. The wilderness didn't break you. It clarified you. And now, the spirit within you is rising like dawn through fog. At first barely seen, now undeniable. This is not ego. This is emergence. And the very ones who underestimated you are now feeling unsettled by your silence. They sense it. They see it. And they don't know how to handle the version of you that doesn't play small anymore. Let the fear they feel be confirmation that your power has matured. Michael says, they see you as a threat now, not a pawn. That's why they're reacting. That's why they're scrambling to control the narrative. Because the story they created about you cannot hold against the person you've become. And you must own that. You must step into the truth of who you are now. Not arrogantly, but unapologetically. You've spent enough time shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. That season is closed. You will not apologize for your discernment. You will not dim your insight to protect their pride. You will not play blind when heaven has opened your eyes. This pain was never punishment. It was preparation. A sacred stripping. Every false connection severed. Every deceptive covering burned away. Not to leave you bare, but to clothe you in clarity. And now, what once made you cry will soon be your platform. What once broke you will now build you. You are no longer hidden. You are no longer the one holding your breath, waiting to be chosen. You've already been chosen. You've already been appointed. And your silence in this past season was not weakness. It was strategy. A divine setup for the moment when the real you would emerge. So move differently. Love with wisdom. Speak with way. Walk with the awareness that heaven has verified you. You do not need earthly permission to move in your anointing. You were affirmed in the throne room. Stand tall. Lift your eyes. Heaven sees you and hell fears you. You are the one they didn't expect, and now they cannot stop. Type I am rising in the comments if you feel this shift. Blessing code 818 is now activated over your identity. Section Roman 8. Prophetic revelation, the reason this erupted. Destiny required exposure. Let the veil fall. Let the chaos reveal the core. You asked why the storm came so suddenly, why the tension escalated, why the silence turned violent. And now Michael reveals the truth. This betrayal was the doorway. Yes, the pain and purpose. Not because God delights in your suffering, but because destiny demanded an unveiling. There was something you could not carry into your next chapter. And rather than let it fester in secret, heaven forced it out into the open. Not to embarrass you, but to free you. Michael speaks with authority now. Your spirit outgrew the circle that disguised truth. That's why things didn't feel the same. That's why conversations felt shallow. That's why connections that once comforted you started to feel like cages. You didn't fall out of alignment. You outgrew the disguise. Your destiny expanded, and the false foundations couldn't hold the weight of your calling. You weren't being broken, you were being called. Everything shifted because the assignment on your life intensified. You're not in transition because of failure, you're in activation. This moment, this unveiling, this heartbreak, is your unlocking. God is not punishing you. He's promoting you. But exposure had to come first. The hidden had to surface so the sacred could rise. Let your tears testify that you are being transformed. There is clarity rising like smoke after fire. Not everything is fixed, but everything is being revealed. And in the revealing comes realignment. Now you know who's for you. Now you see what was covered. Now you understand why the shaking began. Michael says, this is your moment of clarity. It doesn't mean every question is answered, but it does mean the fog has lifted. What was once confusing has now been stripped of mystery. What they used to keep you compliant, guilt, manipulation, false loyalty, can no longer bind you. Because now you see, and seeing is your liberation. New assignments are forming now. They were always there but blocked, hidden by distraction, delayed by misplaced trust. But no more. What was once held back is now being released, and the unveiling with a key. This is why the betrayal had to come. Without it, you would have stayed. Without it, you would have remained loyal to the lie. Now you are being prepared for spiritual rulership. Not popularity, not performance. Rulership, territory in the spirit realm. Authority that heaven trusts with weight. This is why the warfare increased. This is why the attack felt personal. Because the calling on your life is public, but your preparation was private. You are no longer a passive participant in your own story. You are the one heaven has trained, the one hell fears, and the one destiny requires. If this message has spoken to your spirit, consider giving a super thanks. Contributions of $5, $10, or $20 are deeply appreciated. Your support helps us create more of these prophetic revelations for those who need it. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe to receive ongoing prophetic content, divine strategies, and messages directly from the throne room. Heaven is speaking, and you don't want to miss what's next. Type I receive the revelation in the comments. Blessing code 1010 is now unlocked over your life. The veil is gone. The false comfort has been broken. And now, you stand at the edge of decision. Destiny does not drag, it invites. Heaven will never force you forward, but it will compel you with clarity. The moment has come where you must either rise or retreat. No more delay. No more second guessing. The Spirit of God declares, this is the time to move. You are not stepping into something new. You are stepping into what has always been written. But to enter it, you must agree with it. There is a sound in the heavens waiting to echo through your yes. That yes is not merely verbal. It is a lifestyle shift, a mindset shift, a heart posture that says, I will not live beneath what God placed on me. Declare this now. I rise into who I really am. This isn't about proving anything to others. This isn't about being validated by those who misjudged you. This is about finally aligning with the truth that was buried beneath disappointment, fear, and delay. Heaven has called you chosen. Earth tried to convince you otherwise. But now you know. Now you've seen. Now you've crossed the threshold. The time to activate is now. The silence you kept in the last season was strategic. The restraint you showed wasn't weakness, it was obedience. But now your strength must speak. Not with arguments. Not with debates. With action. Heaven does not utter noise. He utters vivid. You must move differently now. You must walk like one who knows their worth. One who has seen what the enemy tried to do and survived it. Step forward. Not back. There is nothing behind you that can serve you. The old version of you was tolerated because it didn't pose a threat. But the awakened you, the activated you, it shifts atmospheres. It reorders rooms. It threatens every structure built on deception. Move differently. Love differently. Trust differently. You are not bitter. You are wise. You are not guarded. You are guided. What you've seen has refined your vision. What you've endured has sharpened your discernment. And from this place of clarity, you must now live with intentionality. You've seen too much to go back to blindness. You've heard too much to tolerate silence. Destiny does not wait for convenience. It moves with urgency. And this moment is not random. It is alignment. All of heaven is waiting on your obedience. What you say yes to today will open realms you didn't even know were assigned to your name. You are not small. You were never small. But now your faith must match your calling. Heaven whispers, step in, and I'll release what was withheld. Step in, and you will see the provision you cried out for. Step in, and you'll see the connections heaven withheld until your spirit matured. Step in, and you will discover why the isolation was necessary. You were never being punished. You were being positioned. This is your destiny call. Not to perform, not to oppress, but to fulfill what was written of you before you ever took your first breath. God is not asking for perfection. He's asking for surrender. The destiny you carry will not be achieved through striving, but through alignment. So posture your heart, open your mouth, and walk in obedience. Everything you need will meet you at the intersection of faith and movement. Type I say yes to destiny in the comments. Blessing code 1555 is releasing breakthrough instructions now. The natural world has gone quiet. But in the spirit realm, a divine exchange is taking place. You can feel it, can't you? The stirring in your chest. The invisible pull. The weight that's not heavy but holy. Archangel Michael stands in position. Heaven's host encircles your life. Not just to watch you, but to participate. For there is a trade happening in the unseen. Michael speaks softly now, but his words shake the ground. What was stolen is returning soon. This is not poetic metaphor. This is covenant reality. The time of divine return is at hand. And what was lost, peace, clarity, relationships, opportunities, years, is being transformed into legacy. Heaven wastes nothing, not even your sorrow. While you were grieving, heaven was gathering. Every tear was collected, every egg recorded. Every moment of silence was counted as sacred currency. While you slept, heaven was active. While you mourned, angels were in motion. God does not need your awareness to work. He needs your agreement. And now, as you say yes, as you step forward, the trade intensifies. You are not just stepping out of a dark season. You are stepping into divine exchange. You thought it was just a storm, but it was a transaction. You avoid confusion for clarity, loss for legacy. Every moment you thought was wasted has become divine soil. And now, the harvest is forming. Not through striving, not through performance, but through obedience. This is not karma. This is kingdom justice. Michael says, your spirit felt the shift before your mind understood. That's why your emotions have been unsettled. That's why your dreams have been intense. That's why time feels distorted. Your body is standing in today, but your spirit has already touched tomorrow. You're walking into what your spirit already knows, and it knows that something has changed. There is a divine trade in motion, but it's happening quietly. No spotlight, no announcement, just angels moving, just heaven shifting, just glory being released without fanfare. This is why you were told to be still, because this is sacred ground. because divine trades are too holy to be disrupted by noise. While the world waits for something loud, heaven does its greatest work in silence. You are not being ignored. You are being rebuilt. You are not being delayed. You are being set apart. This quiet moment is where legacy begins. And when it is time, what was given to you in secret will be seen in public. The reversal won't need explanation. It will speak for itself. You won't need to convince anyone. Your fruit will do the talking. The Spirit of God declares, you are stepping into restoration beyond reason. You are walking into a season that doesn't match what you lost. It exceeds it. Let this sink in. Nothing was stolen that won't be replaced with more. The enemy touched you what he had no right to, and heaven has judged him. And now, the divine recompense begins. You are not crazy for feeling like you stepped into something you can't explain. You are walking in the middle of heaven's holy transaction. A new chapter is unfolding, not because you forced it, but because you trusted God when it made no sense. And now, the silence you kept is becoming the sound of your breakthrough. Type I receive divine exchange in the comments. Blessing code 1999 is now activating your restoration season. The gavel in heaven has struck. The case has been reviewed in the courts of glory, and judgment has been rendered. Not by human hands, not by your retaliation, but by the righteous judge himself. Every whisper, every twisted narrative, every scheme planted in darkness is now being overturned by light. Archangel Michael declares the season of silence is closing, and justice is rising. This is not revenge. This is recompense. This is not bitterness. This is divine balance. God does not need your rage. He does not require your defense. He only needed your obedience. And because you remained faithful, because you did not strike back, because you stood still while being misrepresented, He is now moving on your behalf in a way that no man can stop. Justice is no longer delayed. It is in motion now. The same mouths that mocked you will marvel at your recovery. The same hands that threw stones will witness your elevation, and they will be unable to deny it. Not because you will rub it in their faces, but because the weight of God's hand on your life will be too visible to ignore. What was spoken in secret is being shouted aloud. Heaven is tearing off the cloak of manipulation. Things done in back rooms, under veiled intentions, are now being uncovered. The truth is moving with surgical precision. God is not vague in his judgments. He is exact. He is precise. And his word does not return void. This reversal is spiritual first, but it will manifest naturally. Favor will begin to locate you in ways that defy logic. Doors will open without explanation. Resources will find you. Relationships will realign. And all of it will shout one thing: God did this. But take heed. This reversal is not so you can boast. It is so the glory returns to the throne. You will be vindicated, but not through your own strength. Your name will be cleared, but not by your own hand. God himself is stepping into the storyline to rewrite what others tried to delete. Michael speaks. Truth wins quietly. Yes, you won't need to raise your voice. You won't need to fight. The silence you carried in one season will become the megaphone of heaven in the next. Because justice doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it walks in quietly, powerfully, and undeniably. They will be held accountable, not because you demand it, but because God has decreed it. What was done to discredit you will now become the very evidence God uses to elevate you. And when that moment comes, your only role will be to stay humble, stay hidden in him, and keep moving forward. The scales are being balanced. Every sleepless night, every slanderous word, every tear you cried in silence has tipped the weight in your favor. Heaven never missed a moment, and now the floodgates of favor are opening, suddenly, supernaturally, and sovereignly. Let go of the need for explanations. Let go of the thirst for closure. God is your closure. Let your spirit release every grudge, every wound. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. And justice that is divine leaves no trace of bondage behind. This is your turning point. Your record hath been set straight in heaven, and now it will be reflected on earth. If this message is confirmation for your spirit, consider supporting us with a super thanks, with gifts of $5, $10, or $20. Every contribution helps us continue to release prophetic insight to more people like you. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for more timely prophetic words, spiritual insight, and divine encouragement. You were never meant to walk this alone. Stay connected to what heaven is speaking. Type "I claim my justice" in the comments. Blessing code 1717 is now ushering in supernatural reversal. As this word concludes, let your heart be still. Let your soul rest in the truth that has been spoken. You were not left behind. You were not forgotten. You were hidden, covered by the hand of the Almighty, not because you were weak, but because you were chosen. And now, the hidden one is being revealed. This is your hour of clarity. This is your hour of closure. This is your hour of calling. Every word that has gone forth was not for your ears only, it was for your spirit. The shaking you felt, the release you sensed, the fire that burned through your chest, all of it was divine confirmation that heaven hath been speaking to you directly. Let the peace of God flood your atmosphere now. Not just the peace that calms emotions, but the peace that anchors your entire identity. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into what was always yours. You are not waiting for something random to happen. You are stepping into something eternally appointed. Archangel Michael stands guard over your future. You are not alone. You are not defenseless. The same angel who waged war over heaven's territory now wars over your destiny. Every assignment sent against your progress is being cut down. Every accusation hurled against your name is being silenced. You are covered. You are secure. You are marked. The voice of heaven declares over you now, you are sealed, seen, and sent. You are not drifting. You are being launched. And what felt like a season of being overlooked was actually divine positioning for a moment of undeniable manifestation. Nothing was lost. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was in vain. It was only delayed, held back by the hand of God so that it could be released in greater glory. The weight has not broken you. It has deepened you. And now, everything that was withheld will be returned, multiplied, and soaked in divine purpose. So rise. Not just emotionally. Not just mentally. Rise spiritually. Rise prophetically. Rise with awareness that the veil is gone. You see clearly now. You move with clarity now. You walk in purpose now. And as you go forward, take this word with you like armor. Let it burn in your bones when doubt returns. Let it thunder in your chest when silence comes. You have been chosen. You have been kept. You have been called. And now, you are being sent into the next chapter fully aware, fully empowered, fully protected. Walk in truth, for it is your inheritance. Speak with power, for it is your birthright. Love with wisdom, for it is your armor. Move with authority, for it is your mantle. And remember, the battle is not just behind you. It has also been won within you. Type "I am walking in truth" in the comments if this word has sealed your spirit. Blessing code 1414 is the final confirmation over your journey.